Welcome to the Bulldog State of Mind podcast, brought to you by the Fresno State Staff Assembly Executive Committee. Here are your hosts, Belinda Munoz and Melissa Norris.
We are so incredibly lucky to have Fresno State's Vice President for Administration and CFO, Debbie Adishian-Astone, here with us today as our guest of honor. So Debbie started her career at Fresno State as a student assistant her freshman year and has spent her entire career here at Fresno State. During her time at Fresno State, she's led major campus development projects, including the Save Mart Center, our Student Recreation Center, the Jordan Agricultural Research Center, Campus Point, and the Linda and Stewart Resnick Student Union. We cannot thank you enough for carving time out of your very busy schedule to be with us today and talk about the power of reflection and transition as you move into a transition of your own.
Well, thank you so much. And it's an honor to be with both of you this morning. And it's a lot of emotion and reflection that I've been having the last few months. And Fresno State is such a special place, as we all know. And so I'm happy that we're able to visit this morning together and be able to share a little bit about my experience and how much Fresno State means to me and the impact that it's had.
We are definitely happy to have you here. And I was going to wear flats today and then thought I had to match your energy. So I put on heels.
And I noticed those and I love them. So we'll have to chat later.
So after 40 years on Fresno State campus, including your years as a student, you will officially retire in December. As you reflect back, can you share with us a little bit of what is going through your mind and maybe some of the moments at Fresno State that really stand out to you?
Been a lot of, as I mentioned, a lot of reflection and memories, just thinking back, as I have said, I have been driving to Fresno State every day for 41 years. Chestnut looks a little different now than it did. Cedar looks a little different. And when I started here in 1983 as a student, as a freshman, had no idea that I would be spending my entire career at Fresno State. But that's what I think Fresno State is, a special place. And starting as a student assistant and being able to continue my career. And there were moments in time where I said, okay, maybe, I've got my bachelor's degree. Okay, I'll stay, get my master's degree. Did that and thought, okay, maybe then there'll be other opportunities. And Fresno State just has a way of keeping you here, and the campus community, the students, the faculty, the staff, everyone here, is, we always said, it's a special place. And it was a way for me to pay it forward and be able to hopefully make a difference for other students and the employees and everybody that we work with, to make a difference here at Fresno State. And when I think my position opportunities evolved, worked with so many amazing leaders. I've served under 4 presidents, started with Dr. Hack, and then Dr. Welty and Dr. Castro, and now President Jimenez Sandoval. And I've learned so much from each one of them. And every time I would start to get comfortable in the position I might have had at that time, there'd be a little tap to say, would you be interested in doing this or taking this on? So I feel very fortunate and very grateful, and don't take any of those opportunities lightly. And really, I think helped for me to grow as a professional and as a person and as a colleague. So a lot of different moments. I would say probably the culminating moment for me was the Save Mart Center. When I was asked to take that project on, I cried. Said, I can't do this. I told Dr. Welty and Dr. Quillian, who was my boss at the time, who was the VP and CFO. And just coincidentally, he reached out to me today. So I don't know if it was karma, but he just texted me saying, we need to connect. I hear you're retiring. And so that brought back a lot of memories, because he really provided me a lot of mentorship and professional growth. And I learned so much from him, especially when he would edit anything I wrote, because he was the best writer. And I would say, Ben, how do you know how to do this? And he goes, you'll learn. So I think, just having the opportunity to learn from others and to have leaders who believed in me and gave me the opportunity. But on the Save Mart Center, when Dr. Welty at that time asked me to take this on. I did. I cried. I said, I can't do this. This is too much. I can't, report to you and have vice presidents report to me. And he's like, yes, you can. So again, very, very appreciative and grateful for the opportunities. But I also leaned in and did what I needed to do to ensure that I could take on those additional responsibilities or projects. And even though maybe I didn't know what I was doing at first, I learned.
Well, you led in perfectly to my next question, because I imagine with your years at Fresno State, there's been a lot of learning that's come along the way. And I think as a woman in leadership, as a mom, among your many, many titles, I'd love to hear some of the lessons that you are taking away with you from your time at Fresno State.
Well, as some know, I have two boys, 32 and 23. And as I jokingly say, the age gap was the Save Mart Center. I didn't think I could take on one more thing. So my younger son, Matthew, was born a week before groundbreaking. And my older son, Andrew, who's 32, really, we did everything together from the standpoint of, handling the childcare. Fortunately, my parents were able to help. But I think understanding, what it was taking to have a mom who had a pretty demanding job. And there were things that I missed. I missed I was not the room mom. I would help, but I was not the room mom. I, would try my very best. And then something always seemed to happen. But I did what I could. And with, as we all know, with the sport teams or dance, depending upon what your children might be involved with, just tried to balance as best I could. And it's hard. It's hard to do it all as women in positions, in leadership, in any positions. The demands upon us are great, and we're expected to be able to figure out and do it all. And we're also told, find that work-life balance. You need work-life balance. I can't remember how many people told me I need a work-life balance. I'm like, well, how am I supposed to figure out what work-life balance when I know I don't have it, and I don't think there's any way to figure this out right now. And I think it's good. It's important to give that grace and saying that, look, we're doing as much as we can. And there might be some things that we are not doing 100% or 150% that we want to, because we're striving for that and doing the very best in everything. And that sometimes comes at a toll. And it's just important, I think, to listen to our bodies and listen to what's, most important. And family is most important. And I do know at times I put the job first and not my family first, and that's just the way it had to be. And I don't necessarily have regrets, but I do wish that maybe I had tried to balance better, and I just didn't know how then. And, when you're in a position, you've been asked maybe to step into a leadership role or a different role. And as a female, I think sometimes the expectations are different, and we're having to balance more and figure out more, but yet we're not sometimes comfortable to share that. Or, that 7 a.m. meeting really doesn't work for me because I have to drop my child off, school, daycare, whatever that might be. An 8:30 meeting would work better, 8 o'clock. But I can't tell you while we were developing the Save Mart Center, we had meetings every week, every Wednesday at 7 a.m. And I was there, and I was in charge of the agenda, and I did it. But looking back, it's like I probably should have spoken up and said, is there any way to do this a little bit later? But I felt like that was an accommodation for me, and I just didn't feel like that was something I could ask for at that time. Now I would ask for it if that was necessary. But so I would just say that, there are resources, there is support. I don't have the magic formula. I wish I did. And I've always just shared too that I think it's really helpful to have a mentor and someone to talk with and rely on, who's, I'm very fortunate to work with a number of amazing women in our leadership team in our division at a number, different positions and levels. And I always try to be there for them because I had others for me, and I want to be able to do that and give that back.
So what would you say to, a colleague on campus who is having a hard time doing that same adjustment right now in their career? I know you say that you lost out on a lot of time with your family, but it's important to do that work-life balance. What would you recommend? What would you share?
I think I would share that it's important to have that conversation with your supervisor or, manager. Also to have maybe a mentor or someone else, a peer to, talk that through with and say, what could I offer that would be different? Or is there some other option? Or how do I make sure that I'm not coming off and appearing that I can't do the job just because I might need some either flexibility or ability to make sure that, they understand that I need a balance right now. And I may not be able to, put in these additional hours right now, but, I need to focus on my family for whatever that reason is and not having to explain. I'm just saying from a personal standpoint. But I think it's knowing that it's okay to have those conversations because sometimes someone may not know what, might be going through or what support we might need or what other resources on campus there maybe EAP or whatever other resources that might be supportive or a professional women's network that might be helpful, whatever that might be, or connecting you with a mentor that might have gone through something similar or could maybe add a different perspective. And that's what I've always appreciated when I've had colleagues reach out to me and say, would you be my kind of unofficial, informal mentor, or could we just meet? And I've always appreciated that because not that I have all the pearls of wisdom, because I learn from others as well. And so when I hear sometimes what some of the challenges are, it helps me as a leader and as a manager also be more sensitive. And, now that my boys are grown and out of the house, I don't have some of those same challenges anymore, but I did. But it's remembering, that we have colleagues who are still in that phase in their family life, which is so important. And how do we help to support that? And how do we maybe need to think about doing things differently? And just being supportive. And if nothing else, just being a listening ear and knowing that there's that safe space is very important.
So, as you head into retirement,
never thought it would happen.
I know. Well, can you tell me a little bit about why now? And we'd love to hear what's next for you as you move into retirement.
The why now, I am a faith-based person, and I think in my heart and with different things happening in my family, and mostly my dear parents who are in their late 90s and fortunately still in their home and needing more care and attention. That was really my driving decision. And then there's been, I think, just some signals to myself to say, it's time. It has been a great career. And it is an amazing institution with amazing leadership. And I have so appreciated working under President Jimenez Sandoval, my cabinet colleagues. I think most difficult for me is going to be leaving my team, my leadership team and my division, because they are just amazing. They're rock stars and they've been so supportive. But for all of us, there comes a time, and that's okay. That's a good thing. And I think I'm ready to enjoy and have some flexibility and not feeling like I'm always late, rushing around. Even here today, I know I was a few minutes late because somebody needed something. And that's what I've taken pride with, that I've always tried to help others and be there for others or help to solve a problem, even if it's not within my own area. If someone reaches out, I never turn anybody away or turn them down. Always been accessible to meet, to help. And I've always really been very proud of that because I really care. And I hope that has always come through in my interactions and relationships with my colleagues and others on campus. But I think it's time to slow down a little bit, and that's okay. And it was hard for me to get there because I don't know anything different. As for many of us, we've been working since we've been 16 years old. I started babysitting at 12 years old because I always wanted to have my own money. That independence started early. And I, was raised with a very, strong mother who was first in her family to go to college. And that was a huge deal back then. And so I've always had very strong, inspiring women surrounding me and my family. And I think it's okay to say it's time to do something for Debbie and to have that flexibility and more time with my family. My boys are very happy. I didn't realize how happy they really were about my decision, and I didn't think they would care, and they are ecstatic. And my husband I'm like, okay, be ready, because now I'm going to be home a little bit more. Not being able to just be able to have lunch with my girlfriends and things like that sometimes we take for granted in those relationships. At one point, I told somebody, I think all my girlfriends have disowned me because every time they invite me, I have to tell them no, or I can't, or I have to leave early because I have a meeting, or something happens and I get called that I had got to go down a conference call during the lunch, and then I got to go in my car. And I don't, it's all been part of the journey and part of the role I signed up for. And I knew what I signed up for when I accepted this position. But I think there comes a time for all of us when change is good and it'll be fine. And I've been reassuring my team on that. And, the campus was here before and it'll be here after. It's an amazing institution with amazing individuals who are going to continue to do the good work. And I will always be here to support, but from afar.
And now you get to take that time for you.
Yes.
Which I love. And I think that's a hard thing for all of us to make time for.
It is.
But what an exciting new chapter for you coming up.
Thank you.
Yes. Well, one thing that our listeners probably don't know is that you were part of staff assembly at one point.
I was part of staff assembly, and it was when we were doing, some may remember, the picnics out in Maple Mall. My colleague, Dick Smith, Bob Boyd, Rick Finn, and many of us were very involved in, and that was at the time when, our cabinet would get out there and under Dr. Welty at the time and have those skits and have some fun. And we would just be out there and doing the fun things. And I just have so much regards and appreciation for the work of staff assembly and how much it has grown, and the opportunities you're providing for our staff and for our entire campus community, because you don't just focus on the staff. It's open to faculty and managers, and how that portfolio has broadened. You all should be very proud of, and we are very indebted to the work that the staff assembly is doing to keep our campus community special as it is and close knit. And I think that's always been one of the hallmarks of Fresno State. And I hope that doesn't change. I know we have some bumps along the road here going forward with, the budget situation. But I know our campus will lean in and work together, and we will do what is very best for Fresno State and for our employees and for our students.
And we, personally, I'd love to thank you for everything. You have been such a huge support to staff assembly and the growth of it. There's a lot of things, we can have ideas all day long, but if we don't have support from our leadership and our campus community, we wouldn't be able to do the things that we do. And you have been such a, champion for us. You've always encouraged and, just allowed us just to be, open-minded and think outside the box and, come up with ideas, and have always been so supportive. And I'm going to miss you a lot. I appreciate everything that you, honestly, I appreciate lunches. I appreciate our talks, and thank you. Just everything. I just appreciate you. But before I start crying, we actually have a little something for you. So we, if you want to take a look on the side here, I'm going to grab your mic.
Okay.
And I'm going to let you open it. That is from staff assembly.
Now I'm going to flash it. I will say, here's one thing I would like to say before I sometimes, I think sometimes we either grow up, or we think, if we show emotion, that shows weakness. It doesn't. Emotion shows care, resiliency, and heart and kindness. And I think that is one thing I had to learn more recently, that show of emotion is not weakness or our inability, and it's not just a female thing. And I just want to say that, because we are allowed to be who we are and express whatever emotion we are feeling. And that is so important for us to feel comfortable doing. And that's okay because we care. And those that don't show their emotion, that's, we're all different. But I think it's important to know that it's okay because we care about each other and we care about this institution. And if we didn't, then there's something wrong with us. So I just want to add that. I apologize.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, that's great. I don't know.
So you've got it. You've got to show it.
Model this. Oh. Oh my gosh, thank you. Okay.
So the queen has retired.
Thank you. I don't deserve that, but I will cherish this. Trust me. And I would not have been able to have this experience without all of the amazing support from the entire campus. And I think I'm really going to miss, as well as working with all of my colleagues and all of you, I'm going to miss working with our student leaderships and every year, working with, the new officers in ASI or the student union board. And I know Andrew's here and so proud of him. And I was on the student union board many years ago. So I think just missing that opportunity of watching our students and their success and crossing the stage at commencement, and then to see what they go on to do and the amazing impacts they make out in our world. I'm going to miss that. But I will be staying in touch and will always be so proud of my alma mater and the institution that has allowed me to be who I am today, and that hopefully I'm leaving it in a better space than when I started. But my heart will always be here, and my Bulldog spirit will always be here, and will always still be going to all of the athletic events that I've always gone to. So you'll see me cheering, and I'm always here to help in any way. And I appreciate all of you so much for doing this and for allowing me this opportunity. And just keep doing what you're doing. Set the bar high. Continue the good work and inclusion of staff assembly and the events and the camaraderie and the collegiality. And never lose that. Never, as I say, always take the high road. Always do what's best. Go with your heart. Go with your gut. And always keep Fresno State, at the forefront, because the work is important.
Thank you. Yes, so you got to open that too.
Oh, I can whine all I want. I'm retired. I will fill that up with joy.
Yes. We'll want a picture. We want a picture with you with your wine and your shirt, and maybe a little tiara.
Yes. As I was cleaning out my cabinets in my office, I found a beautiful happy birthday tiara that my staff must. They always spoil me on boss's day or on my birthday. My office would be pink balloons. And I found a little tiara. I'm like, okay, I will leave that behind. But I work with an amazing team, an amazing division. And that's what's going to be the hardest, letting go. So, but it's time and it's a good thing.
Well, we have, so we reached out. You talked about you're going to miss the people. Well, there's a lot of people who are going to miss you too. And we reached out to a few people and asked them to share a few words that we could share today. So, Melissa, you want to go first?
All right. So your first one is from Chris Westcott. And Chris says, when I think about people who've made a huge impact on my life and career, Debbie Astone is way up on that list. I remember as a student being new to the USU board and feeling out of my depth. Sitting with her in her office, she patiently taught me how to craft and think about budgets. She was so busy, but still made the time. Years later, I had the privilege to work directly for her. I was learning from her again about teamwork, analyzing financial statements, and navigating audits. I basically got an MBA from Debbie. Those weren't just lessons in numbers, though. They taught me to approach challenges with confidence and precision. The details matter. So much of what I know about business and communication comes from her. Debbie wasn't just a boss or a mentor. She's a loyal friend. She makes you feel supported while still pushing you to grow. I owe so much of my growth to her. She's one of those rare people who leave a lasting impact. Thank you, Debbie, for everything and warmest wishes on your retirement.
I'm just so proud of so many like Chris and others.
So we have another one from Dr. Peter Robinson.
Oh.
Debbie
My
Astone,
buddy.
Yeah. Debbie Astone and I were classmates at Fresno State way back when. For the past 3 decades, we have been connected in some form or fashion ever since. Sometimes I joke that Fresno State has 2 speeds, slow and stop. 3 years ago, I was tasked as the project coordinator for the Victory Bulldog III bronze statue that is located on the north end of the RSU. That was a challenging task as it required a lot of moving parts that were new to my skill set. Hiring an artist, approving the design, raising the funds, selecting a location, designing and installing a concrete base, plus fabricating and installing a donor plaque, all while having to navigate 2 presentations to the campus planning committee as well as the ASI. To be honest, the entire process was both complicated and exhausting. We were lucky to have Debbie's guidance and patience that allowed us to successfully complete the project within 3 years. On a campus of this size, for a project such as this, a 3 years is pretty darn warp speed. Seriously. Debbie, we wish you the very best as you retire from our alma mater, Fresno State. Thank you for uplifting our campus, our community, and me. We miss you already, and we appreciate you.
Thank you. Oh, Peter. Well, I'm glad he didn't talk about our college years.
Oh, I don't know. I
That
might
for
have
part
to follow
2.
up with that.
So proud of Peter, and when he got his doctorate, just another proud moment, and all that he has done to advocate for our LGBTQ plus community and our allyship has meant a lot to me.
You ready for another one?
Yes, I can. Okay.
All right. This next one is from
I have to breathe.
Reyes.
Oh,
She says
my
a
other
very
proud student.
A very special memory I have of Debbie is when I served as a member of the association board of directors with you as chair of the board. I got to witness her remarkable ability to command a room with professionalism, respect, kindness, and grace. Over the years of working under Debbie's leadership, I have continued to witness her tireless commitment and dedication to this campus. Thank you for being an amazing boss, mentor, and a friend to me personally. I will always treasure my time working closely with you at Fresno State. This campus will be very different without your leadership, and it is a much better place because of you.
Another gem, another proud student leader who's going on to do amazing things as well. That's why I told Angelica, I said, well, if you're leaving, then I'm leaving too.
So we have President Saul Jimenez Sandoval sent a few words for you.
You boys are really...
He said, Dear Debbie, thank you for your true Bulldog spirit, powered by your sharp intelligence and your very best intentions for Fresno State. For almost 40 years, you have given your time, talent beyond the call of duty. We will miss you and send you our deepest appreciation for your impressive legacy at Fresno State. Go Dogs.
As I said, we are in very good hands, and it's been an honor to serve under President Jimenez Sandoval's leadership. And I know as we all know, we are in good hands. His heart, his passion, his genuineness, and his kindness. We are very blessed. And we just all need to support him and his leadership team going forward, knowing that he is at the helm and steering us in the right direction.
Well, as we wrap up our conversation with you today, is there anything else you would like to add?
I just want to give a big thank you to Fresno State and to all of my colleagues, to the amazing students who make this place so special, to our faculty who are on the front line working with our students, mentoring our students, educating our students, to my division who I admire and respect so much for the work they do every day. And they don't ask for anything other than just that they're doing a great job, and they are. And they're every day doing what they need to do to help support our campus community in so many ways that is difficult to mention, but in all the areas that sometimes go unnoticed. And I just always tried to be their advocate and their champion. And I appreciate them all so much. And I wouldn't be able to do what I do without the strong leadership team that I have and that we've built together. And as I say, we work alongside each other. Yes, I'm the boss at the end of the day, but that's not how we've operated. And I wouldn't have been able to do the job I've been able to do without such a strong team. And that's what makes the difference. And someone very wise told me years ago, you want to surround yourself with folks that are smarter and more capable than you are, because this is not an independent or solo journey, and we need each other, and we do our best as collaborators. And I've worked with so many great folks over all the years, and I owe it all to them for the legacy they left and the good work that we continue to do together. But I know Fresno State's in good hands.
Well, again, we are very grateful that you have taken the time to be with us here today and share with us, some of your what you want to give back to the community, what you've gotten from us, just all the words of inspiration that you have shared with us throughout the years. But we thank you for being here today, and we wish you the very best.
Thank you.
In your retirement. And, I heard you say we're not going to change your phone number.
No, my number's staying the same.
You were going to continue to come to all the great things that Fresno State is doing.
That's right.
And who knows, maybe we'll throw that picnic again, and you'll have to come back out and help us out with that picnic.
Well, I just want to say thank you all again. And it's been a pleasure and an honor and a great journey. And go dogs.
Go dogs.
We just wanted to take a quick moment to thank our listeners for being a part of a Bulldog State of Mind. This was kind of a dream for quite some time. It's become a reality, and here we are wrapping up 2024 with our final episode of a Bulldog State of Mind.
It's been a great, the first semester of this year. We've had some great guests on with us. I'm enjoying seeing this come to life and where it's going to go. We have some great ideas for the future of a Bulldog State of Mind, and so excited about it. And it was nice having Debbie here with us to wrap up the year. I mean, what a great way to end 2024 is by having somebody who is going to be retiring in 2024 and, closing that chapter, and as we close out our year.
Yeah. Well, and it's not over yet. We still have some fun things planned. Do you want to talk a little bit about some of our December fun coming up before 24 is officially over?
Absolutely. We have, we're going into the holidays, so a lot of fun stuff coming up. So mark your calendars for Wednesday, December 11th from 2 to 4 in the RSU for our holiday Christmas party on campus. And, it's a candy cane theme. So come dressed, ready to eat and enjoy. We might have some karaoke and some music and lots of prizes to give away.
Lots of fun, food, raffle prizes.
That's right.
Should be a blast.
And then we also have the toy drive. Yes. We have the toy drive where we'll be collecting toys at Red Friday. We're collecting toys at the holiday party. And then we will be distributing them on the 12th.
December 12th and 13th.
Yes.
So our Fresno State employees, as a reminder, again, if you could benefit from the extra support, we want to encourage you to come out on our pickup days, what'll be on Thursday, December 12th from 11 to 1 and 4 to 6 in the RSU room 214. Give us space for you to come and pick out a toy or toys for your families that would help to support them.
Yes.
And then, of course, we'll have our Parent Scholar giveaway the very next day. So a great way to kind of end the year, I think.
Yes. So if you can give back, we'd love for you to support this initiative and donate a toy. So, and it goes directly back to our campus community. Mm-hmm. We started that last year, and we served several families last year, and I'm looking forward to serving several more this year.
Absolutely. And a Bulldog State of Mind is going to come back in February of 2025. So January off as we transition into the new year. And then Belinda and I are going to spend some time kind of talking and reflecting on the last year and giving you maybe a little sneak peek into what comes next in 2025. In the meantime, we of course want to encourage our listeners to take time for that reflection, because I think that was such a valuable experience to sit here with Debbie today and reflect back on kind of the year and years behind us and start looking forward. So we encourage our listeners to do the same thing as you end out 2024, to reflect and then start thinking and making goals for what 2025 might have to hold for you.
And take that time during the holidays and really enjoy your families. And, you know, even if it's just spending time alone by yourself and, you know, just pulling your energy, just grab that energy and just keep moving with it. And I hope each and every one of you have a wonderful holiday, Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year.
Wonderful. We'll see you in 2025, Bulldogs.
Thanks for watching the Bulldog State of Mind podcast. Join us for the next podcast in our series, released each month during our Red Friday celebration and available through our Fresno State Staff Assembly Executive Committee YouTube channel.